every time I come to Selangor Chinese Assembly Hall, I tell them I need something stronger, but they never listen. Transitional justice. When you talk about transitional justice, normally it is associated with extremely major changes in the country. So you think about South Africa, from the change from apartheid to a more democratic system. You think about Timor-Leste, yeah? From Portuguese colonial control to Indonesian oppression until today. Yeah. So when we use the term transitional justice, normally it's associated with very major changes. Now, would that apply here in our case as well? I would argue that yes, I think there is a need for transitional justice in this country. Well, for one thing, see, it's when someone is killed, normally the effect is between the people who know the person who has been killed, your family, your friends. But in the case of Beng Hock, it is greater than that. See, because in my point of view, Beng Hock's death is a national issue. And why do I say this? Well, firstly, arguably, it is the first political killing in Malaysia. Now, why do I say it's a political killing? Well, the answer is simple. Would Beng Hock be dead if he was working for the Barisan Nasional? I don't think so. In 2009, after Beng Hock's passing, I wrote in my newspaper column asking what happens now. And I'm sorry, I quote here. What I said was, at a time when young men and women feel the change in the air, when they feel a difference can finally come, and they seek to do nothing more than serve the public in thankless tasks, they see that this desire to do good can be rewarded with death. What does this bode for the future? So, it's the implications of what happened in 2009 is far more reaching than simply to those who knew and loved Beng Hock. But lest we forget it, I think, I'm sorry, YB, very rude, I don't know how, I was going to say kid, mentioned that, you know, there are other similar cases, yeah? Deaths in custody. You mentioned the Kugan case, for example, in police custody. So many deaths. And since the case, since Beng Hock's case, there's been, if I'm not mistaken, there have been more deaths at the door of the MACC. Yeah. So what does this mean? This means that clearly there is an institutional issue here. An institutional issue which is twofold. Firstly, structurally, there is something seriously wrong with our government and our governance. There is clearly a lack of accountability, a lack of transparency in our government institutions. Secondly, on the part of personnel, how is it that our public servants can have amongst them those who have no respect for human life and are unprofessional thugs, drunk on power? How did this occur? So clearly the problem is systemic. There is a problem with our system. Hence, it is of vital importance that justice is done. And regardless of what the Royal Commission said, justice has to continue. We cannot just stop here. Not just for Beng Hock, not just for his family, but for the good of the country. Yeah? Because like I said, the issue is systemic and not limited to individuals. And justice can only come with sweeping changes. Now, individuals must be brought to justice and they must be punished. And then the system that bred them, that allowed them to act so badly and even promote them, this system must end. So, in other words, what we're looking for here is transitional justice. Yeah? Transition to change from one system to the other. Yeah, because it's, the problem is deeper than just the death of one young man. Transitional justice is important because people can have acknowledgement of crimes committed against them and some form of reparation and perhaps a move towards some sort of reconciliation, although I don't think that's the issue here. But what the point I'm trying to make here is, yes, Beng Hock's family deserved justice. Beng Hock's child deserved justice. The memory of Beng Hock deserves justice. But the people of Malaysia also deserve justice. We deserve to live in a system which is not corrupt, which is not vicious, which is not cruel. We deserve to live in a system which is accountable, which doesn't allow government servants to do whatever they want, simply because they have a badge or because they have some sort of authority. We deserve more than that. It is a cathartic process. It is a process, transitional justice is a process through which a nation can acknowledge past wrongs and embrace a new ethos with which to move into the future. We need to change. We need to tell ourselves that the past is the past, yes, we've got to sort that out, but what does that mean? Now, how are we going to move forward? We've got to move forward in a way which respects human dignity, which respects human rights, which respects the rule of law. So, in order to do that, we need to acknowledge that things have been done in the past. Now, whether those who are responsible, who are guilty, who are to blame for what happened in the past will do this or not, I'm not sure. That is the difficulty. But that has to be done. Just like those who were responsible during the apartheid regime had to face up to the crimes which they committed, so too, the people who have destroyed the institutions in this country have to face up to the crimes that they have committed. Not just the three men, but everyone responsible for creating the system within which we live today. Now, transitional justice can be either retributive and or restorative. And I submit that in this case, in Malaysia, we need both. In the sense of retributive justice, it is about punishing of wrongs. It is about holding individuals accountable, even if it's for the actions of the many, but it is getting that kind of individualistic justice. Where restorative justice is concerned, we are more concerned about changing systems and the roots of the conflicts which we face today. We need both. We need both in this country. And the case of Beng Hock, the case of Kugan, the cases of all these people who have died needlessly is a springboard with it, which we could use to achieve that. So, at the end of the day, I think this effort, this work which is being done with regards to Beng Hock has to continue. Because it's not just about Beng Hock anymore. It's about all of us. Thank you very much.